If you'd been sitting in my pickup that morning, you'd have seen a mess unfolding long before the coffee went cold. There I was, engine idling, staring at a line of brake lights fading into a white curtain of snow, every car just as stuck as the last, all because someone decided a padlocked gate would protect US. Snow drifted down, thick and silent, settling on windshields, on roofs, even on the absurd new chain, the HOA, wrapped tight around the only road that matters when winter gets serious. I didn't need to check my phone to know what the messages said. My wife stranded and late for work. Parents waiting for a bus that couldn't get through. Somewhere up the valley, an ambulance had already tried and failed. The HOA, of course, called it a safety measure, liability lawsuits, community protection. They loved those words. I'd warned them, told them straight out. Close this road in winter, and you'll choke off the whole valley. That second road won't hold, not in a real storm. They just smiled, nodded, moved along, believing paperwork beats reality every time. Sheriff's cruiser slipped by in the snow, trying not to get stuck himself. I set my coffee down, didn't even bother with a sip. What they'd done wasn't just inconvenience, it was a mistake you can't back out of once the flakes start piling up. On a good day, Clearwater Ridge is the kind of place real estate agents dream about. Rolling trees, winding driveways, everything peaceful and tidy until winter slams the door. Up here, storms settle in, and when they do, roads aren't for show. They're how you get your family home, how ambulances find you, how kids make it to school. I've lived here long enough to know which roads matter, which ones don't. That's why I bought my own pickup with a plow years back. Not for the HOA, not for side gigs, just so folks could count on getting out blizzard or no blizzard. Clearwater Ridge looks fine on a map, 2 access roads both highlighted in bright lines. But a map doesn't show elevation, black ice, or where the sun never hits. That backup road steep, shaded, and useless half the year. I've watched sedans and trucks both lose their nerve halfway up, slide back down, like they're being pushed. Everybody local knows one road gets you out, the other just gets you in trouble. The new board didn't want to hear it. Marilyn Price, with her lawyerly calm and her binder full of risk assessments, had just taken charge. She came in promising stability and property values, used phrases like exposure and long-term impact. At first it was minor stuff. Notes about trash cans parking. People muttered, but nobody pushed back. Not until the board went nuclear. First, a letter. Nice. Polite. HOA letterhead asking me to stop helping neighbors with snow removal to let official channels handle it. Then a thicker envelope, this one all legal threats and liability talk, warning that if anyone got hurt listening to me, the HOA would be exposed. They named me more than once. Finally, the bombshell, an all-resident email late at night. Main road now closed in winter, subject to board discretion for the safety of all. That night the texts poured in. Parents worried about school buses, retirees about medical appointments, even photos of the backup road already turning to glass. I drove it myself just to see. Tires slipped even before the hill, and by the time I parked at the bottom, snow was erasing my tracks before I could even think about trying again. The calm outside felt fake, like it was just holding its breath for the next thing to go wrong. Next HOA meeting. Nobody could sit, boots left puddles in the carpet, folks kept their coats on. Marilyn stood up and gave her speech. One accident and we drain our reserves, force dues higher. Closing the road is about community safety, not control. When it was my turn, I kept it short. Just described the hill, the ice, what happens when a bus gets stuck or an ambulance tries to rush down after sunset. She nodded and said, "We can't let one homeowner dictate to the board." Meeting over shoulders tight, folks filed out. I sent my last email that night, just attached old county notes, photos from previous storms, and suggested they wait until after the snow. No reply. Just another notice, road closed Monday morning, no exceptions. Snow picked up steady that night. I stood in my kitchen, coffee cooling, staring at the driveway turning white again. Phones across the neighborhood started blowing up with the same questions. What do we do? Has anyone heard from the school? Which way can the ambulance come? HOA doubled down, sent another message, calm, confident, but not answering anything that mattered. That next morning I barely slept. Pulled on my boots, tried the backup road, slid, spun, parked at the bottom, drove up to the main gate. Sure enough, chain shut, padlock bright, no sign, nobody from the board. First car pulled in behind me, then another. By the time the delivery truck jackknifed, blocking half the lane, I'd started calling the county. Explained the lock, described the roads, reported the stuck bus kids still inside. The questions from the county came fast. Who authorized this? Is there an emergency plan? Is this road a designated winter route? All my answers were no. They told me to stay put, keep my phone on. Sheriff's cruiser showed up, deputy got out, just looked at the scene. No need for words. The line of cars behind me kept growing, headlights stacked in the snow. What was a neighborhood problem was now a public hazard. I started taking photos, videos, timestamps. Clear sent them to the county along with the latest HOA email, which by then blamed non-compliant residents for the mess. The deputy read it, handed it back, muttered, "That's helpful," and got on his radio. The county called back, tone serious now. "Document everything, stay available, equipment's on the way." The board's attempt at control had become Exhibit A for why it shouldn't be allowed. That night's emergency meeting was packed and tense. Marilyn stuck to her script, liability, duty, insurance. I didn't argue, just played a video, tires screeching, wind howling, a car sliding sideways out of frame. Then played a voicemail from the county. "This gate is not authorized for closure in winter. If not open in 1 hour, the sheriff will open it." The room went silent. Deputy stood, faced Marilyn, said, "You heard the county. Open it." Marilyn just stared at her notes, tried to talk about policy, but the words were gone. Parents spoke up, waiting for buses, walking kids home in the snow. Elderly residents told how they turned around abandoned cars. Someone who'd supported the board said they were done. Facts piled up heavier than the snow outside. The meeting ended quietly. No vote, just a sense that something had finally broken loose. Gate didn't open right then, but we all knew it was coming. Late that night, county trucks rolled in. Lights flashing, chain-cut gate swung wide. Plows followed, heavy blades scraping, salt flying. What had been a traffic jam turned to slow movement, then steady flow. By dawn, the emergency was over. The county opened a formal investigation. Emails requested statements taken. The HOA's own message blaming residents sitting in the file. Within days, Marilyn and 2 others were censured for unsafe governance, failure to coordinate with emergency authorities. Their authority, so carefully protected, was under review. And just like that, things started changing. Neighbors talked not just about snow, but about trust, bylaws, recall, votes. Marilyn resigned before any vote could happen. No apology, just a bland email. The rest of the board followed quietly. County appointed an interim board. Real neighbors, this time the kind who shovel their own driveways. Policies were rewritten in plain language. Main road always open during winter, no exceptions. Secondary road clearly labeled as unsafe in snow. No more pretending. For the first time, people stayed after meetings to talk. The tension eased. Trust, fragile but growing, returned. Some folks thanked me. I always told them I wasn't after power, just wanted the road to work. Storms kept coming, but the difference was clear. Gates stayed open. County trucks rolled through, ambulances didn't hesitate, kids got to school. Ordinary things, and that felt like a win. What I carry with me now isn't the drama, the meetings, or even the victory. It's the quiet relief knowing the school bus made it, the ambulance got through, nobody got hurt. People found their voices not by yelling, but by standing up and insisting on reality over paperwork. And that's the lesson I learned. Authority's only real if it faces facts, especially when things get hard. Trust is earned when leaders listen, not when they hide behind policies. Sometimes fixing a broken system starts with a storm, a stubborn neighbor, and a locked gate in the snow. So here's the real question. When does protecting a community turn into putting everyone at risk? Where do you draw the line between responsibility and control? Let me know your take. Ever been caught in a situation where the rules made things worse, not better? Drop your story, your thoughts, or even your best HOA disaster down below. Because out here, when the snow falls, the only thing that really matters is whether we look out for each other or just for ourselves.